Yo, Mario! Land Surveying 1, Session 4, Data, Kiwi style. Hello, welcome. In this video, we're going to look at the sources of data, the information that we need when we do surveys. Where does it come from? How does it, what do we need to know about it? Where can we get it? All of that sort of thing. So let's get on with it. I've got a new star of the show circulating here. I don't know whether you can see it. There's a little bit of a fly coming around, trying to get rid of him, but he seems to want to stick with the subject. So anyway, let's get on with it. All right. So here's our plan for the session. Now it's just the standard plan, nothing different. The 2-hour tutorial, session 4. I'll hand out some documents, talk to the PowerPoint, which is what I'm doing now. Just copy for your edification. If you want to revisit what I said in class, or perhaps you missed, you can do it now. So that's all very good. Then we'll work on the various topics until that session ends, and then we will have a practical session where we will fill out health and safety documentation, as we do for every practical session, and undertake a variety of practical tasks when that session will end after 4 hours. So that's the plan, pretty standard plan. And then our learning outcomes. Well, what are we going to learn? What's in it for me? So on successful completion of this session, you should have interrogated the LINS geodetic database. So we'll tell you a little bit about the LINS geodetic database. It's a database that's online and available to all New Zealanders. It's actually available as an app on your smartphone, and using the GPS technology in your smartphone, you can almost walk on to some of the marks. So using that, you would have located a survey mark from existing online data. By looking at the database associated documentation on the LINS website, you'll have an understanding of orders of accuracy. That is, obviously some marks are measured more accurately than others, and you will also then, in a practical sense, we will be going on and reducing double run, levelling run between two known marks as part of our levelling assignment and our general practical requirements. You will have examined the allowable miscloses for levelling. So, it's difficult to be perfect, but how far, how much is too much. We will also be looking at slopes and grades, very important part of civil engineering, and in particular levelling. Things are usually on slopes or grades, pipes, roads, and what have you. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. It would be somewhat ironic if you were to forget about that. So let's hope that you remember about the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Okay, now the simple survey concept for session 4, the simple survey concept is accuracy costs money. The more accurate you measure things, the more it costs. Obviously, a 300mm plastic school ruler does not measure things very accurately, and less accuracy than, say, for instance, a steel ruler or a very precise micrometer. But the steel ruler costs more than the plastic ruler, the micrometer costs more than both of them. So the more accurate you want the measurement, the more money it's going to cost. Also, one of the big things about accuracy, or one of the ways of achieving accuracy, is to measure something multiple times and then take the average, and that is more accurate than each single measurement. So even with a quite inaccurate measuring tool, if you measure something enough times with that tool and then take an average, you will get an improved accuracy. But obviously each time you measure something, it costs you more money and takes longer. So accuracy costs money. So it's, you know, okay, so what? That's pretty obvious. But where this comes about is, and from time to time, your clients will be asking you for your opinion on how to survey something, what to do, how far to go. And obviously the accuracy, how accurate they need their result, will very much depend on their the costs. So if they just want a not very accurate result, if they want you to pace it out, well, not going to cost so much. If they want it accurate to the nearest millimetre, going to cost a little bit more. If they want it accurate to the nearest half a millimetre, well, that'll probably cost more again, because you'll need to take longer to make sure that you get it accurate. So accuracy costs money. Okay, just a little reminder here. Is your diary up to date? So pleased I spelt that, because I'm sure you wouldn't be too concerned about your diary being up to date. Is your diary up to date? So I've asked that you fill out a diary day by day, week by week. It's important that you keep it up to date, because it's worth a percentage of your total mark. It's a good idea. Well, it's most effective that what I'm trying to do is best achieved if it is kept up as a day-to-day, week-to-week thing. So just a little reminder there, is your diary up to date? And I will be reminding you of this from time to time, just like my mother used to remind me to wash behind my ears every day. Okay, assignment 1, levelling. How are you going with that? Have you collected all the information? Well, today's session is intended to be the last formal session where we're going to collect data for levelling. We've got other things to do in the next session, but we need to work with that. The weather could play a part. Your social life or family life may have impacted on your ability to get things done. Have you shared the information with your teammates? Have you got all the information? Have you got copies of everything? Very important that you keep on track with assignment 1 and your levelling, that you're managing the levelling project. We perhaps need to take a little bit of a look at project management in classes and just see how we go with that, and I will possibly be introducing that as a sort of bonus for you in due course. Alright, so assignment 1, levelling. Now, here it is, what you've all been waiting for, the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Right, so what happens is that this guy in the Ebbinghaus, if his name was written a bit larger, I might be able to see it there on my little poster, but what he did was he wanted to see, about the retaining of information. How do we retain information? And what he found out, what he did was he just did a whole lot of meaningless little 3-letter words, and he asked people to sort of memorize them or try and memorize them, and then he'd ask them again and see how much they've forgotten. And so what he found was that memory fades away pretty quickly, and according to the graphs that he's got there. So after about 1 day, you retain 80%. After about 2 days, I think it drops away, just looking at this little one here. So after about 2 days, 60%. and then after 3 days you've pretty much forgotten half of it. So that's the curve, and obviously it varies slightly for different people, so some are better than others, but that's all well and good. But what they did find is that if you regularly reviewed your data or regularly reviewed what you'd learned, you could bring it back up to 100, and then it would last slightly longer. So you can see in here that after 1 day, if you did a review, brought yourself back up to 100, you wouldn't drop down to 80 until 2 more days. Then if you did another review, and then it would 3 more days. So the more times that you review the information and bring it up to 100% level, the longer you will remember it for. Now, you know, you can think about this, that it's things that things that you remember. There are things that you remember, and there are certain things that I remember. Like, for instance, I know that the conversion from links to meters is 0.201168, and I think I spoke to you about that in the previous session. Now, I know that, and I've remembered that for, well, I think I first probably learnt that when I started work in 1972. And I've used it pretty much daily for the first year of my working life, and then subsequently from there on, and I've remembered it ever since, because I repeatedly had to look it up, and then I remembered. And so this is what it is. It's that repetition that helps you to remember, or as we talk about here, review. So the more we review things, the longer we retain them in our memory, and that is thanks to the work done on the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Just a little there. So what I'm trying to do here for you, or what I'm trying to get you to do for yourself in this course, is to provide you with information and data in a format that you can review quite quickly. So I've provided worksheets, checklists, and various things, and said to you, well, this is the information that you need, this is the information that you need, this is the information that you need. I might say that again sometime more if I have to. But the 50% of this course is in the examination area, where you do have to remember how to do things and how to do them accurately and what have you. So we need to keep you up to date with that, so when you sit the exam at the end of this course, that you've got all the information available there, present in your mind. So what I'm suggesting is that each week you might want to allocate some time to just reviewing. So like when you've got session 1 all sorted, and it's good, you might want to review that, and the more you review it, the more you will retain this information. So it's very important that you review your information, because otherwise you're coming here, bringing yourself up, here, bringing yourself up. But if you leave it, you're going to come all the way down here, and then you're going to have to learn or bring yourself up to the level, the night before the exam, or what we've called cramming or something like that. And that is very inefficient. You're much better to spend just a little bit of time, review, and keep your data present in your mind. So that's the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. Okay, now another thing I want to look at is, obviously we're trying to get the best we possibly can in this course, and I'm trying to tell you what good students do, what you have to do to pass. And these particular behaviours that I've listed here are observations that I have observed and I think I've alluded to this earlier, These are what students do who pass and pass well. So these are the things that top students do to pass these courses. And some of them are relatively simple. They're not difficult. Anyone can do them. So number one is attend class. Yeah, attend class. Come to class. Yes, I've got all of the information online. You can read through it. You can do all that thing. But the best thing is to come to class. Attend class. Participate in the class. That's where you'll find out all sorts of information. That's where we'll strengthen the information that you know, sort out any problems, and that sort of thing. So that's the number one behaviour of successful students. Generally, without exception, the top student in the class is usually one of the best attenders, certainly 80% plus. Completes work in a timely manner. Generally, the students they'll do their weekly work. If they're don't complete it, perhaps they'll come and talk to me about it and tell me why. But generally, they complete their work. Questions. Top students ask lots of questions. Okay, questions. Question everything, assume nothing, learn the truth. Questions, you could underline that or sum that up in one word: communication. Communicate with the tutor. Find out what's going on. If you don't understand something, ask. If you don't understand something, that's a challenge. That's a problem that needs to be solved. If you just let that problem remain unsolved, it's not going to solve itself. If you can't do one of the exam questions now, you do nothing about it, you're not miraculously going to be able to do it when it comes to the exam. So sort out the problems, ask the questions, anytime, anywhere. Catches up on missed classes. Yep, they don't sort of say, oh well, good successful students sort of catch up on everything. They don't say, oh well, I only need 50% in the exam, so it won't matter if I'm, No, they catch up. And they complete work in their own time. It's not all going to happen in class. They quite often are doing a lot of work in their own time, and that's where the 150 hours that I talked about, there. And communication here, which I alluded to in 3 above. And the other thing is reviews the work often, as I explained in the Ebbinghaus forgetting curve. So these are 7 behaviours of successful students. I can almost say that if you follow those behaviours, I can almost guarantee success. But that some people have to try a hell of a lot harder than others, but generally that's going to get you there. Okay, so this is just a few little things there just to complete that thing of communication. Communication is king. Okay, if you communicate, that's all. If you just sit there, say nothing, don't talk to anyone, don't participate, that's not going to help. It's communicate at all times. I know some of you may be a little bit guilty of talking all the time. We'll let you know if you're talking too much. But generally the problem is most of you are not communicating enough. So remember, with the message has got a part of the message process, or how we understand things. It's a two-way thing. There's the message. I might send out the message, but you've got to feedback. Without the feedback, we're only getting half the loop. Things are not working. So it's really important that we get the feedback. And that's what with the questions and the communications. Okay, and so finally just a little something from George Bernard Shaw, quite a famous philosopher and writer. The single biggest problem in communication is the illusion that it has taken place. And as a teacher, I'm probably and tutor, I'm quite guilty of that, in that I say things in class, but quite often the fact that I've said things doesn't mean that it's been communicated. It doesn't mean that it's been understood. It's really important that you feed back to me and say, I didn't hear that. I didn't understand that. What did you mean by that? And that is the way that the message gets analysed and understood by everybody. Okay, now my simple survey concepts. Accuracy costs money. As I said earlier, you know, the accuracy, the higher the accuracy, the longer the time, the more it costs. So it's really important that you have a good handle, or you do the work to the accuracy that's required. You know, if you do everything to Rolls-Royce accuracy, it's going to be very expensive for your client. You might find your clients not coming back, and quite often they'll recognise that, hey, I didn't need it this accurate, and I'm paying for that. So it's you've got to have a happy balance with your client. Make sure that you're doing things as accurate as they need, but not as rough as guts, or you've got to be very careful. So that's why you've got to communicate with your client, find out exactly what they want. Okay, now that is the end of my PowerPoint presentation, and I've said there, let's look at Moodle. So what I'm going to do now is go and look at the Moodle course. So let's hopefully we can get into the Moodle course. So here's our Moodle course here, our familiar front page there on the home tab. I'll just have a quick pop into assessment here. Don't forget your diary, reminded you about that. Talk to you about the levelling assignment and all of the stuff that's in here, how to do things, and your date, your deadline there, Monday the 3rd of April. So just be remembering that, 11:59:59. Okay, any questions or that about the assignment? Remember, there's no guarantees, that the information that you need to do the assignment is in there. You may have to ask more questions, find out more stuff, get some information. I may send out emails and things like that to explain it. So make sure you're up to date. Make sure you've asked all the relevant questions and you know what you're doing. Make sure you're working as a team with your group, that everybody in your team has roles and things to do, that information is being shared and is being made available. Don't be a holdout. If you've got the information, get it copied and scanned and distributed to your teammates. So that's assessment at this point. We'll just perhaps go back to the home page here and just have a quick look at the course outline here. I'll just coming up now. So this is session 4 here, which is coming up, session 4. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. It should be round about in here, or round about here possibly. Completing field work for the levelling assignment. Okay, possibly in accuracy and precision there. And then the levelling assignment's due in on the 3rd of April. So these are a little bit fluid, so I'm hoping that there, but we may, depending on weather, we may have lose time or whatever. So yeah, just keep an eye, make sure you're up to date with that sort of thing. Okay. So let's have a go and have a look now at this week's 4, which is Data Kiwi Style. So just a quick overview here of how this is going. Yep, there's some videos to start with which talks about LINS data. Land Information New Zealand has most of the data for the cadastral surveying, is doing the land title boundaries. It has all of that information and largely is the biggest sort of repository of survey information. But there are other various types of information available from councils a large facilities, like for instance Wintec and the campus here, there may well be, or there is, some bits of survey information available from Wintec about the campus. But there is also LINS data, and there's also some data about as-built information, sewers, stormwater information available at the council, the Hamilton City Council, and the Waikato Environment Waikato, the Waikato Regional Council. There's also data available at Wintec, also our utility companies like Spark, Telecom, and the power companies, Well, and gas companies, all may have little bits of information with regards to as-built or survey information that's there, various individuals and things like that. So there's many sources of the data, and it's important as when you're doing a job that you research thoroughly and make sure you have all of the available information, particularly as-built information. There's Before You Dig, which is a service that you can send in and say where you're going to go, and they will they have databases of information that they will circulate through their people, and information can come from there. And we've had recently situations where cables are hit and power is taken out and that sort of thing, so sewer lines and things like that so it can get very serious very quickly if we don't know where things are. So there's the geodetic database. We're going to do some work with that, and there's a bit of an activity on that. Just in that, here's the worksheet here. For that, you actually have to go out and physically locate some marks out into the big wide world. So be very careful. Don't look for marks in the middle of state highways and roads and that. Be a bit careful. Choose carefully the marks you go to look for. Make sure that they are ones that have got lots of information. They're quite easily to find and that sort of thing. So you'll see all that on the videos and that are provided. So that's the geodetic database activity. Our session plan here, which you've seen, the notes, which are the notes for this PowerPoint or what I've just been done, and then here's our session 4 checklist, which gives you a run through order that you can fill in and sort out. Okay. All right, and then there's various videos. This one that I'm doing now or recording now, looks like it's going to be longer than that. That's there, but I'll update that soon. So leveling between 2 points, a bit of a worksheet. Calculating miscloses. There's two ways of calculating miscloses. One is on a per kilometre, so that's generally for long runs, where you go per kilometre for when you're doing some leveling. And there's another one where you're using the number of setups, which is probably more suitable to the work that we're doing, where we're doing quite a lot of things in close proximity without going too far. So that gives us there. And there's different formulas depending on the circumstance. You're always given the formulas in questions. So you don't have to remember the formulas, you just have to remember how to use them. Allowable misclose quiz. Then we've got a video on slopes and grades, and slopes and grades quiz, and then some exam questions. These questions probably date from 2012 earlier, and then from 2013 forward, all of the questions are available in the answers in the resources, in the old exam papers. There it is there. Sorry, old exam papers there. So there's all of there's more questions in there. They're the more recent exam papers, which will give you similar examples as well. Okay, so that's them there. And then we will go out and do the practical tasks. Now the practical tasks this session are just to complete the necessary data collection. We'll just do some leveling, do your health and safety documentation, and finish off all your leveling and get that all sorted. Just in saying that, don't forget that you have to do finder diagrams. You have to measure where the marks are. There's quite a lot of little bits of work that need to be done and drawn. It's not just all about the leveling. So make sure you've got everything done and that you can then go ahead and do the paperwork for your assignment. So just moving down to here to what success looks like. We're just going to finish up there, and this is I've put together the what success looks like. This is just to give you a bit of a guide so that you can sort of know what it is you're trying to do with each one and how they're things. So I'll just take a few comments on that once that becomes available. Oops, it's taking its time, but oh, here it is. Okay, good old Stu, eh? So here it is here, the front page. Here's the checklist all filled out. Note everyone is done. It should be a different pen, different date. I did them all on the same day, but yeah. So there's the data intro quiz there, all nicely filled out, everything completed. And here's the Lynn's database activity. This is one students. I've redacted the name of the student that did this work out there, but there you go. Some maps, some finder diagrams, photographs. All of this is available online. So it's just pretty much a cut and paste job, although you do have to go out there yourself and find the mark and take a little photo of your own. Okay, there's just a little leveling exercise. Make sure that you get or understand how the adjustment works. The other stuff here is pretty good. Should be okay. Just remember that this bit in here, that all that information there, those first 4 columns or first 3 columns is what is written down. They're the measurements. Everything after that is derived from the measurements. Therefore, these mathematical checks, if they don't work out, they something's wrong. They should. I mean, that and that should be equal. There's no reason. If they don't work out, the reason is because you've made an arithmetic error. And similarly here. So, and remember, you need to know exactly how to do the adjustment. And remember, it's cumulative, adds across. And then these are your final values here. So pretty important. You have to get these done accurately. It's simple stuff, but it's accurate. You need to understand what to do and work it out. You need to work out a method that works for you. I have one that works for me. I always take the this one away from the backside, and if it's positive, it's a rise. If it's negative, it's a fall. Take that one away from there, negative, it's a fall. Okay, so always and work out, draw little diagrams as to how you do it and what you do. Make little notes, work it out for yourself, analyze it, and what have you. Okay, the allowable misclose, again, there's the there's the 2 different formula. There's the kilometers, and this one is there's a kilometer one where K is in kilometers, and then there's another one where N is the number of setups. So they're just formulas and putting information in. The slopes and grade quiz. Note that this student handed this in, and there's a couple of things there that were not quite right. So I've corrected them in red. So that's one of the reasons why you want to hand your stuff in, although you should be checking it yourself. I do have a little bit of a check and just make sure things are right where I can see it. I can't examine them. I don't have time to examine them all super critically, but generally they should be right. So here's there, and there's again an exam situation there. So that should all be in, and then here's our practical tasks. All signed off. Didn't quite get that one signed off there. I've signed it off subsequently now, just yesterday. Okay, and some more information there. I've noted that that's incomplete there, so that would get a few marks off for that one possibly. So there you are. Alrighty, so that's quite a comprehensive little go through everything there. I think I have, think I've got everything sorted now and said everything I want to say, but there could be more. So thank you, and as I said, you know, this is all about Data Kiwi style. Get your work done. Remember, one PDF document as shown here and what success looks like. One single PDF document. If you've got trouble with it, come and see me. I'll show you how to do it, but I just want one document that I can go through. As you can see, I could go through a document like that very quickly and check it very quickly, and that's how I want it to do. I want to be very efficient. I don't want 27 JPEG pictures. I don't want it in Word. I want it in one single PDF document. And try as much as you can to do digital rather than write and scan. So I'd rather that you filled these in digitally if you can. If you want to have a go or you need some help, talk to me. We've got the PDF functionality here on the Wintec computers. It's in your interests that you learn take every opportunity to learn new skills. Doing things in PDF and digitally is a new skill, and it's a skill that's going to become very, very marketable going forward into the future. So that's it from me. Cheers. See you.